Hello viewers, once again welcome back to Java Jagran. As part of collection video series, today I am going to talk about the internals of vector. So in previous video I gave the overview about the vector, and in this video I am going to totally talk about the internals. I will explain you all the internals of the how the vector is working. I will explain the add method, about the add method, get method, remove method, and all the important method of the vector and how it's internally work. So these all things I am going to talk about this video. So as in the vector class there is the four constructor available in the vector class. One is with the two int parameter, one is with a single int parameter, and one is the int parameter. These three are the basically same. Internally it's calling one from the other, and one more collection constructor is there, that is getting the object with the existing data. So how the vector is internally working is whenever we call a constructor with 0 arg or 1 arg or 2 arg. So in that case, if you are calling a vector constructor with 0 arg, it will create one of internally constructor object, and it will call and it will internally call this method, and this method first arg method will call this method. So basically what is these two parameters? So first int parameter is the capacity and another is the increment factor. So it means on the first place whatever you will give, that is for the capacity, it will become the initial capacity of the vector. With that capacity it will create, actually what is the vector internally, it's storing all the data in the form of array only. So whenever we are creating a vector, it means vector internally creating one object array. In that they are storing all the data whatever we are storing the vector. So for the array they have to create, as we know the array is the fixed in the size, so they have to create one fixed length of the array. So for that they need the size, initial size, because they have to create one array. So for that they will took this one and it will create one array. By default if we are calling 0 arg or 1 arg, so if you are calling 0 arg, it will internally pass the 10. If you are not passing the size explicitly, you are calling 0 argument constructor, it will create a object array with the 10 packet. So this will call 10, a vector of 10, so it will come to here. So here it will again this method will call this one. So now increment factor is that if once the vector is become full, then after how much size it's going to increase, that is dependent on the increment factor. So this is the two method. So this method will call the size that is passed by this, or if you are passing internal calling this method explicitly, it will pass the initial capacity to this, and it will pass internally. By default it's passing 0 to in the increment factor. If they pass the 0 in the increment factor, what do you mean by that is, if it's a 0, then it will just make it double. So whenever they have to increment the size, increase the size, then it will just double the current capacity. If we are passing the increment capacity as increment factor as 0, if we are passing some other number like 5, 10, 20, so whenever the internal array will become full, then it will increase the size with this one, existing size plus this size, so it will increment like this. So this is how they are internally calling the constructor and creating the object array. Now we all know that as I told, collections are nothing but it's one of the implementation of data structure only. So vector is internally following the um, one of the data structure, that is growable array. So what is the mean of growable array? What is the data structure of the growable array? I will talk as part of the add method, because that method, that algorithm is implemented as part of add method only, because we have to increment the size while adding the element only, while getting element, while removing, while updating the data. We don't need to bother about the size. So we have to bother about the size only while adding the element. So as part of this, now let's talk about how the add method is calling internally. So in the case of add method, what is doing, first of all, whenever we first we created the vector with the calling one of the constructor, that part is over. After that we will start adding the data into the factor. So whenever we will call the add method, it will first go and check the one of the size of the array. So this is called the increment growable array algorithm. So first it will check the size. If the size is exceeding, it means the if size is 5 and already 5 element is there, we are going to add the sixth element, then it will just grow the size of the array. It will increment the size of the increase the size of the array. So this is called the growable array algorithm. So whenever we will call the add method or add element method, both are the same, working internally same only. So whenever we will call either add or add element method, so in that case what it will do, it will first check that is the vector internal array is full or it having some space. If it's having some space, it's not full yet, then what it will do is simply it will add into the next internally array having the pockets only, zero pocket, first pocket, index only. So it will whatever how many data is already there, just next to that it will add the on the next element, it will add the data existing. If the other case is that if the that internal array is full, suppose we have created a 5 packet array and all the 5 packet index are full. So what it will do, it will just increase the capacity. For that, it's internally created one method ensure capacity, that is calling. So it will call that and it will increase the capacity. So how it will increase that? Here this load factor will concern. So what it will do, it will check if the load factor is 0, then what it will do, it will just double the current capacity. Else what it will do, if load factor is not non-zero, then it will just add the current capacity in load factor, then it will create the new array. In that new array it will put all the previous data and then after it will return. So that add method will add the new data on the next element. So this is how the add element method is working. I will show you the internals code also. So let's see the internal code. Suppose here I am calling the add element method. So see how the Java people written the code. See, whenever we are calling the add method, it's calling the one of the method ensure capacity. If it will call the ensure capacity, what ensure capacity will do, it will check the size. If it's size is full, then it will call the grow method, like that it will grow the capacity. And after the growing the capacity, if required, it will increase the capacity. After that it will just add the element into the next one. So this is how the add method is working in the case of vector. Next one is the get method. So for the get method, it's not doing anything. The get is the overloaded method actually. No, sorry, get is the not overloaded. Get is the one method. So in the for getting the element, what we have to do, we have to pass the index of the data. So whenever we pass the index, it will return that index number, and it's a zero based. So internally it's storing the array only, as I told. So if we are passing the 5, so it will return the fifth index data, not the fifth data. It will just go into the array, and from the array it will take the fifth data and it will return. See, I will show you that one also. So for showing that, I just wanted to uncomment it, and I will go into the get method. So see what it is doing. If the index greater than equal to element count, it will how many element is there in the uh, array. So what it will do in that case, array index out of bound exception. You people might be getting sometime array index out of bound exception. So from here it's throwing the exception. If it's not, so it simply return the element data. It's calling one more data, element data, and it will return the index. So what it's doing, element data index. See, element data is the array. They created one array on the top. See, object array is there. It created the object array, and from there it's returning the index object. Whatever the data in the index one for which you call, it will return that one. So this is how it's working the get method. Next one is, see, this is the remove method. For the remove, it will just go and remove is the overloaded method. Remove, there is the two remove method. One is with the object and one is with the int. So what is the difference between two methods, these two methods? Whenever we are calling the int argument array remove method, it will just go to the that index number. If we are passing 5, then it will go to the fifth index number, and then from the array fifth element data it will delete, and then it will return that data also. And another one is the remove with the object. In that case we are passing the whole object. In this case we are just passing the index. It means if you know the index, on which index the data is available, then you can call this now method. So what it will do, it will go to that index and delete the data. If you don't know the index at which index it's available, still you want to delete it, but in that case you must have the data. So in that case you can pass the object. This object will delete the data from the collection. It will first search the index where that data is available, then after it will remove from the array and return the true or false. If it's found successfully removed, then it will return true, else it will return false. In this case they will go to the index and try to remove the element, and if it's successfully it will remove it, and if it's not successful it see implemented the remove method also. See, it's going. See, this is the object one, it's calling the object one, so it's calling remove method. See, remove element add, it's calling the one more method. So like that it's finding the data, then it's calling. Suppose I'm calling not this one, I'm calling the integer arg method. So see, it's an integer arg method. It will just go to the data index, and if the on that index element is not there, then it will. If you are passing some other index, like if you are passing, suppose 5 element is there and you are trying to remove the 10th element data, then it will run through the add index after bound exception. So like that it will work. So this is how the remove method is working. So remove method is also okay. Now the element data, elements is nothing but it's return the enumeration of the all the data. It will create the internally one of the enumeration, one internal enumeration class object, and then it will return the enumeration class object. So that enumeration, using that enumeration we can iterate the all the data from the collection. And after that some of the index of method is there for the searching purpose. Whenever we have to search the data from the collection, so on that case you can use the index of. So suppose you have the data, suppose we added the data in the collection vector, and we want to know the index of that data, or at which index the data is available. So on that you can call the index of method. You can pass the object, it will take search on the existing collection vector, and then it will return. If it will found, it will return 0, otherwise it will return binary. So same like index of is the one more. So this one and this one, what is the difference? This will start searching from the starting 0. This will start searching from this index. Suppose we are passing 5, so it will start searching after the fifth index, not from the beginning. But this one will search from the beginning. Same like last index of method is there. So this is starting by the beginning, but this method will start from the last. It will come to last to first. This method will go to first to last. This method will come last to first. Same like if you are passing index, it will start searching from the, by skipping that much element, it will start searching from the last. So like this. And one of the method is the contains. So just it's for just knowing that the element is available or not. If you are call the contains method with the passing the object data, it will search in the collection. If it is available there, then it will return true, else it will return the false. So these are the methods how what are there in the collection. Now yes, I will try to show you one of practically. So one just what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a vector with 5 element data. Okay, I'm going to create with a 5 element data, and I'm going, what I'm doing, I'm adding the 10. Suppose I'm adding multiple data into the vector, more than 5. So see, I will show you how the capacity is increasing. So let's don't bother about the things. What I am going to do, I'm going to we try to, these all are the element. Wait for the, I will try to debug it. So in the debug mode, I can show you the better how the internally it's happening. Wait for a minute. Debug है Java application. So in this case, I can show you the. I will show you the line by line execution. So how it's working internally and all the thing. So debugging is what is nothing. We can run the line by line the code. We can see the line by line code so that how it's going. See what I did. I passed the 5. So it will internally create one. See capacity is there. Wait one minute. Yeah. See it will create the element data. It's created one object array with the fifth in 5 index, and in all the index right now null is there by default. The object for the object type of data by default the null is value is coming, so it will come. So after going to next line, see on the first element it's added the 5 at the first index. So first if it's called the ensure capacity, see in the for the next I am going to show you. See now I did the 15. Now see how it's internally working is it's calling. See 55 added, it's adding the data internally by ensuring the capacity. Still the element count is 4, and see the index size is the 5. Array size is 5. See now the all the elements is full. Now the array is become full. We created the 5 size. We kept the size as 5 and we added the 5 element. So now the all the 5 element is added into the collection. But now it will how it's going to increase it. See it's just make the double. So 5 element is already there. It's created a new array. Add it, make the size double, make the 10, then after added the element and become this. So like this it's working. So now what I'm going to do is I will show you by adding suppose 5. I'm saying that no, whenever you have to increase by 2 only, not by 5. So see in the case of this how it will work. I will debug it once again. So it's trying to debug the other program. First I have to stop that, then how it's stopped. The program is now stopped. So see now I will try to debug it once again as a Java application. See the factor is created again. It created with the 5 element. Now we started adding the element 2 element 3 element. See how why it's coming, because you selected the factor. See here all the 5 element is 5 data is there. So now it's going to become full. So 5 all the 5 element is full. So now see how it will increase the size by 2. See it's also become full. Now again it will increase the size by 2. So whenever the size will become full, it will increase the size by 2 by 2. So this is how the all the add method, remove method, and all the methods are working. Hope you people will get benefited with this. And this is how the internally vector is working. And that's all for the as of now. In the next video I will show you how to create our own custom vector. So I will take this all things is required. There I will create our own vector and I will show you all the things how to do by your skill. So as of now, thank you. Keep watching. If you like the video, uh, hit the share button, subscribe it, and like it. Thank you.